What is up, guys? Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel and coming back. My name is Laura. If you do not already know me, I am here. I make YouTube videos. I talk about hiking, mountaineering, life, travel, grief, everything in one. So if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you do like this video, give it a thumbs up. Without further ado, in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about my training for Mount Whitney. Also kind of some of the things that I am bringing. I have those all with me. I'm leaving in a couple days for it. I'm super excited. I will say a few things before I get started is number one, conditions can always change. I'm going early in the year, so I will be hitting a lot of snow. With that said, I also know that it's supposed to hopefully be really great weather. So I kind of am just ready for cold, ready for snow, but hopefully not anything, hopefully too extreme. Also with my training, I am training for a lot harder, hopefully, mountains later in the year. So my training probably is more extreme than a lot of people's. With that said, there's nothing wrong with hopefully being in better shape, but I think that Mount Whitney is a very difficult hike for almost anyone, definitely including myself. It will definitely be a challenge. So make sure that you're training as soon as you get that permit. I'm also in this video going to talk to you about my experience with my permit and how I ended up getting that, because I did not get it very easily. So that is what I'm going to be talking about. So the first things first, you are not going to be able to hike Mount Whitney without that permit. So every year it seems to be a little bit different. This year permits came on sale February 1st, and you had 1 month to talk about or submit a permit. They are $6 to do a processing fee to reserve that permit time. That is not guaranteed. Only about 15% of people get their permit. So basically you're going to request a specific day or a couple days, and then on that form, that's all online, and I'm going to link that for you below where you would go to do that. If you are flexible, you will then have 15 different choices of backup dates. I highly would recommend this because you're probably not going to get that first choice. So you're going to say how many people are going to be in your group, who's kind of going to be the group leader in charge of getting that permit, and then you're going to submit those times. You'll get an email saying that you're officially registered, don't have the permit yet. A month later, they will come out and it will either be congratulations, you got your permit, or sorry, tough luck. I got the tough luck, and I was super devastated because I put 15 super random, no holiday times, only for 2 people, didn't get any of them. So I was really devastated when that came out. I became a part of a Facebook group, and a lot of people were talking about alternative ways to get your permit. So I then waited, and then May 1st, it came out, anyone who had not paid for those reservations, those all became available, and almost everything was available. Almost like, except for probably July, day hikes would be available every single day. And then there was quite a few still, more earlier in the season and later in the season, multi-day hikes. So I snagged myself a 2-day hike permit for next week, which is June 3rd, June 3rd and June 4th. So I will be heading there next week for an early June hike. So with that said, so if you are someone who is looking to do Mount Whitney and it's around that time, even this year, and I know I even have still been on there and have noticed they still have day permits. So don't get your hopes completely crushed if you do not get that permit that first time. Okay, so now that you have your permit, you're looking to be preparing. There's a lot of different things that you can be doing. You want some strong leg muscles. Depending if you're doing a day hike or a multi-day hike, I'm doing 2 days. A lot of people go out there and do 4 days. You can do it as the whole John Muir Trail, all these kind of things. So for preparing, you may have a really big bag. That will probably be heavy. So something like going on the Stairmaster a couple times, and you might look stupid. Guess what? I've done it 1,000,001 times now, and I did it all last year when I was training for other mountains too. Put a huge dumbbell, and I know I was putting the 35-pound dumbbell into the bag, or a big plate, like a 35-pound plate, into a big bag, which I had my big Osprey bag, and try not to hold on, because that's gonna help you. don't hold on and just start walking. You can hopefully just put on your favorite program and hopefully time will pass by. It's not going to be the most fun, but it does get you into that shape and it gets you used to something being on your back, especially if you're going out there for a few days. I'm someone who I do enjoy running in the early morning, especially here in Phoenix. It's pretty toasty in the summer, so a lot of times I'll go out and I'll run a few miles. When it comes to your weights, I would really recommend trying to start at definitely a few months in advance and getting those. And you don't necessarily, it's not about your 1 rep max when it comes to hiking, although you do want that muscle base. It's more actually about time under tension. So it's going to be doing body weight squats for 2 minutes and getting that lactic acid to go through and then switching straight into something like jump squats. That is going to get your muscles kind of firing. You also do want some sort of base depending how much time you have to train. So those are just kind of some of my generalized tips. For me, later in the season, I'm doing a lot more ice climbing too. So for me, I also have been working on my pull-ups and hopefully getting that upper body to match the strength of my lower body. So there's a lot of different ways you can train this. I personally am training for how many miles I can hit throughout the week. And then on Saturdays, I do my longest hike of the week. I normally go for at least 12 miles. Somewhere different in the world, if you've never seen my channel, typically is something somewhere either in a different state or sometimes in a different country. And then Sundays are my complete rest day. Like, don't ask me to do anything. But basically anything like that, just try to have a visual. For me, my goal is June 3rd. So from that, you're kind of gonna work backwards to, okay, I have 2 months or I have 6 months. How am I going to get my body in the best possible shape? And it's okay if it's not in the best possible shape. Just what can you do? The other thing is a lot of people will go hard, especially right at the very beginning. They got their permit, they're super excited, but at the same time, if you're not healthy and you're not able to, you rolled your ankle, you started training too hard, so you pulled a hamstring, any of these kind of things, that will end up obviously preventing you from even getting to go. So always start off small. Like I'm saying, I'm not your doctor. Always consult with someone. This is just my good YouTube advice, me from experience. So without further ado, I will now be talking about some of the things that I'm bringing. Like I say, I'm doing 2 days. So weather conditions can vary, but I do have a few things set out here that hopefully will help you. So the first thing is an air mattress. You don't want it to be this huge, really big one because you want it to be quite light. I'm going to link everything below that I can possibly find, and I'm going to try to do it even through Amazon because I'm a huge Amazon lover, and anything especially that can get returned real easily gets to me always within 2 days. Love. So I do have this. It's super, super lightweight. It's only 1.5 pounds. It rolls up really, really small. Would totally recommend. I have a large Osprey bag here. And I actually have the 65. If I were to do it, like my perfect would be like the 45. Normally I take off the top so that actually decreases taking off 10, so it technically would be the 55 right now. I will be the one like carrying the tent and stuff like that, so I'm okay with having a bit bigger one. I'd rather a bit more room than not enough room. I love my Osprey bag. They are, if you ever tour them or anything like that, they are awesome. You can get them from REI. They will help you. For example, like if you're a woman, I would get the women's. It'll just fit your hips better. Love it. Had it for many years now, and I just absolutely love it. When you're eating out there, bring a ton of snacks. Like, I think people don't realize you need to be eating so consistently. When I started hiking a few years ago, a lot, I just kind of wouldn't eat as much, and I would kind of finish my hike and be really hungry. And if you don't realize, like, it's not really even about like losing weight or anything like that. You need energy, you need calories in order to kind of continue, especially for a long hike like Mount Whitney. So I have a lot of different snacks I've got sitting here, like fig bars, trail mix, all that kind of stuff. Just hopefully not too much that kind of could go bad. And then for meals, I get the Mountain House. I have quite a few of these. These are super, super good. Like, they're just an add hot water and they're still delicious. Don't even know how that's possible. You can get them from us outdoor stores. Again, I get them on Amazon and I'll link them below. There's always a lot of different flavors too. So if you happen to be like vegetarian, still work great for you. Always bring like gloves. I have 2 different pairs of gloves. One's just a really thin pair. And they even could zip up, so you could put like a warmer if you needed to or anything like that. These are really great. I actually got them on sale last year on a Black Friday online off Amazon. And then I have North Face larger gloves, and I'm going to be bringing both. You never really know with weather conditions, and near the top it's probably going to be very, very windy. I do have, they're called gaiters, and I'll get into crampons in a minute. You'll kind of shield your crampons from possibly nicking your bag. You could put them in there, but also basically it's so that your crampon does not end up tearing your pants, and not even about the fashion statement, just so that it wouldn't clip it and you would fall. So your crampon would literally like slide against it and you would kind of be able to continue. So, these are really good. They're super affordable too. Would totally highly recommend them. They'll just slide over your boot and kind of your ankle area. I totally have regular hiking boots. These are just kind of what I always use for hiking. Obviously not super new. These are Solomon. They've always been very comfortable to me. They're good. They're lightweight. Had them probably for like 1.5 years now. Very happy with them. Here are my crampons. You definitely will need crampons. If you're going up, do not get micro spikes. You will need crampons. And here are mine. They've been great. I've used them a few times for sure, and I've used crampons in the past, and I really like these kind. Again, I'll link them below because there's different kinds, but I find like if you're going to be using these and needing to put them on, your hands are probably going to be freezing. So I want to do like as little work as possible trying to get them on. So that's why I like these ones. I have a buff, so you're just gonna, especially if it's cold, you're just gonna put it over like here. And I did talk about that on my last video. Those are really great. Next thing is an ice axe, and make sure you go out and try to practice with it. I have a black diamond one, been really happy with this. Make sure sometimes they won't come with the straps, so you want to get the straps so that you wouldn't actually lose it. And then you can use this kind of as, and you can go, I would superly recommend, there's some really great YouTube tutorials on here, which I'm not able to kind of demonstrate in my living room, but basically like you could use it kind of as like a hiking stick once it gets more inclined, but basically it's going to be a self-arrest tool. So if you did happen to start slipping, you would understand how to pivot yourself on the snow and then not continue falling and get hurt. So these are pretty light too, and you just put it in the top of your, on the outside of your bag when you're hiking, and then once you need it, and I expect to need it, I don't really know, I'll let you know, but I definitely will expect to need it probably after like 6 miles or something like that is kind of what I'm seeing. I don't typically actually hike with hiking sticks, hiking poles, but I do occasionally, especially when it's going to be quite inclined. They do save my knees, but at the same time, I like them when you're going downhill, just so you kind of can you can check for rocks if they're loose, or you kind of can just use it almost like as a, pretend a tree was there and you'd be putting your hand on the tree and then kind of utilizing it to go down. There's no tree out there. You're kind of utilizing it, especially when you're going downhill like that. So that's why I actually really like hiking sticks when I'm just more in a more extreme situation. I do have a sleeping bag, which I'll be bringing. I got this from an REI garage sale. So it actually is quite a light one. I think it's about 4 pounds. It's a good outdoors one, been really happy with it. I won't go over my clothes. I just feel like maybe that's obvious. I don't know, just bring good warm things. Like a good down jacket is always really great. This one's from North Face. This one is the 700, if you can see that. Probably not my best choice of color because I've gotten it really dirty, but it keeps me so warm, and I've been really happy with it over the last year. So that's probably what I imagine I'll be wearing more near the top, and then having some other layers to go underneath. One thing that I recommend is a lot of people will layer with like turtlenecks, which is totally fine as your base layer, but a lot of layers that you can't unzip, and you're gonna get hot at times, then you're gonna be freezing at times, and you don't wanna stop and then like take off all your things and then put it all back on. And just anything I know about mountaineering so far is just that either you're way too hot or you're too cold. It's just inevitable. So when you have like layers that can be zipped, you just are going to constantly be zipping them, unzipping them, and that will just kind of let you breathe a little bit if you're needing a little bit of air movement without having to unzip a lot of things. One thing I always hike and I so recommend is a headlamp. If you're doing Whitney, I guarantee almost you will be starting in the dark. Doesn't matter how many days you're going for. So this is a great headlamp. I don't even know how to say this brand. Pizzle. Sorry guys. This is a really great one. I literally got it off for $30 and it has amazing reviews. I've used it. I always have a headlamp in my backpack anyways. Doesn't even matter when I'm going for day hikes. I think it's super important to have. I love this headlamp. It's very reliable to me. So always make sure you have that, especially if you're doing Mount Whitney. Last thing, oh gosh, guys. Okay, it's just a sleeping bag. For Mount Whitney, it will be a lot colder up there, so you don't just want a traditional sleeping bag. You will want one that is a little bit better. I got this from backcountry.com, and I've been really, really happy with it. It's a very one for colder conditions, so it's more mummy-ish. I feel like I'm a claustrophobic person, but when I'm cold, thank goodness you are so close to me. So I've been really happy with this. I believe it goes -10 Celsius. And you can always too like add liners. You can just pick up like a $40 liner that you could add to a regular sleeping bag, or if you were just going into extreme conditions, you could have a colder sleeping bag and add that liner to it. So I think that's everything, guys. I am just swamped now with things beside me, but I'm going to be putting those all together into my vehicle pretty quickly here, I think tomorrow, and then I'm going to be heading north to go do that. So anyways, I hope you like this video. If you got something from this video, you can always go back. You can always comment below any specific questions you have for me. I will be happy to answer those just in the comments. I also will leave my Instagram handle. That's where I share many things about my life, hopefully some information, but inspiration for you guys too. If you have found this video, please make sure to give it a like and make sure you subscribe, because I will do a follow-up after I hopefully summit or at least have a wonderful experience at Mount Whitney. So thank you so much for watching. Until next time, guys, keep living life. Bye.